Vincente Luque joining us, one of my favorite guys to talk to, the NMF, nicest MFer in the UFC. It's a pleasure to have you join us. A great matchup against Temba Garimbo, a bit of a short notice. But at the same time, did you kind of have Temba in the back of your mind? Because he's been saying he wanted to be the backup for this fight with Nick Diaz that still has yet to come to fruition for some time.
Yeah, for this fight, I mean, I was ready for something like this because in August it didn't go, the fight didn't work out. And Temba talked about that after his fight with Nico Price. So for me, it was like, okay, at least we have somebody, that might jump in if something happens. Something did happen and he was down. And I'm just grateful for him giving me the opportunity to fight. And now I'm going to go there.
Were you always a little bit, oh, sorry.
No, just go there and get the work done.
Were you always a little bit skeptical about facing Nick Diaz?
The second time a little bit, but I was always like, I wanted that fight, so I was confident getting ready for it, like it's gonna happen. But always so much like, I don't know, things that you don't know what's going on. A lot of drama in the in the whole social media and all that. So for me, it was like, okay, let's see. I'll work through this, and we'll see whatever happens. I'll be ready for December 7th.
Well, when it comes to the unpredictability of Nick Diaz, Eamon, you guys have some experience over at TriStar with that.
Yeah, well, George has faced him before in the past, and obviously we fought Nick Diaz a couple of times with different fighters of ours. But besides Nick Diaz, you have a big test with Timba tomorrow. He seems very intense. We spoke to him earlier, and in his mind, he's going in there to finish you tomorrow. And I know for us fighters at this level, it's all about mindset. And I heard you speak on the press conference this week, and you had some lapse in mindset in one of your fights. What have you done to make sure that tomorrow night you're on?
Yeah, I think that's a great, point. A lot of fighting is the mental side. I mean, everybody's trained, everybody's skilled in the UFC, so we got to be ready to go in there and get the job done. And I think it comes down to will for this kind of fight. I was even talking to Gilbert, like when we get to the top 5, everybody has a lot of will, so we're not testing each other's will anymore. We're going for the more technical side of the fight. A lot of studying, usually 5-rounders. Now for this kind of fight, the guy that wants to jump into the top 15, it's all about will, all about, I'm gonna get this guy that is a veteran and show him that I want it more than him. And my job is to, show him, no, that's not what you're going to do. I'm going to go there and show you all my experience and show you that I still want to be a champion, and this would never stop being my goal.
Sometimes for me, when I hear how hungry a fighter is, sometimes there could be a fighter who's running into a wall, and it could play against them. And someone with a lot of experience can expose how much they're trying to go to finish the fight. Sometimes when you overreach in terms of like offense or trying to dominate too hard, you open a lot of doors for your opponent. And I'm wondering, is that something that you have in the back of your head that, you know what, I'm going to let him come to me aggressive, and I'm going to poke holes in his game in front of everybody tomorrow night?
Yeah, definitely. I think that I have the skill set on the ground or on the stand-up to expose, some of his points that are not so sharp. And if he comes aggressive, that's the kind of fight I love. I am a high-paced fighter, so if we go into a battle, I think that I've been through so many. That's just gonna be one more for me.
Yeah, you've been through so many wars before in the past, and you've come out on top in a lot of them. And I know, obviously, we all want to leave with the least amount of damage possible. But with a guy like Timba, it seems like both of you guys are going to bring it, and it's going to be a hard-fought fight. If you could name the one thing that he has as this biggest weakness, what would it be?
I would say the lack of experience, the lack of facing guys of my caliber. So that's going to be something new for him. He can react really good, or he can struggle. So I would say that.
Yeah. One last question before you get out. Co-main event. Shavkat Rakhmonov, Ian Machado Gary. These are two guys you've trained with before at Team Killcliff. I'm not going to ask you for a prediction because that's boring. So what I'm going to say is Shavkat Rakhmonov beats Ian Machado Gary. How did he do it? Ian Machado Gary beats Shavkat Rakhmonov. How did he do it?
Rakhmonov submits Ian Gary, and Ian wins striking decision.
All right. You heard it from a man who's felt both these guys in the gym, as well as many other great welterweights and middleweights that are at Team Killcliff. Thank you, Vicente. I always appreciate speaking with you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All the best.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Vicente Luque joining us here on the UFC 310 official weigh-in show here on Sportsnet Plus, sportsnet.ca, and YouTube. Appreciate everybody tuning in today.